like one.
Oh, okay. Wait, say that question again.
Why wouldn't you want to be like in a traditional African relationship?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get me wrong. I am all for traditional roles and relationship.
Yeah,
like even with the guy I'm dating in the States, like traditional. Like let's do it, and that's kind of how we operate. But I think for me, it's more so like, and I'm thinking long term. It's like if we're not getting each other jokes, what are we really gonna do? You know what I mean? And then the other thing I also noticed too with Ghanaian men, not all here, is that like there's this very, because they're used to the women needing to depend on them financially. There's this I said it so it is. And that's not, if you're wrong, baby, I'm going to tell you you're wrong in a respectful way, but I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. And I just noticed, like, with some of the men I've encountered here, it's just like, you're a woman you don't know. Just let me, and I don't like that. So I think there's balance, and I think that's why they sometimes, with us coming from America, we kind of shake them up a bit because we don't need their money.
Yeah.
You know?
My name is Lala, and as you know, I've been journeying my way through Africa, from East Africa to West Africa, and currently I'm in Ghana, and today I'll be talking to Niadi, and she is from North Carolina. So let you introduce yourself. What brought you to Ghana?
Okay, so my name is Niadi, and this trip, what brought me to Ghana was just like a little reset for me. There's been a lot of transition in my life, and Ghana is kind of like my happy place. And then I also have like business touring, so I'm doing stuff for that. That's what brought me on this trip.
Okay, so is this your first time?
This is not, girl.
How many times have you been here?
So I started coming to Ghana in 2021. Since then, I've been at least like 4 or 5 times within the span of like 2 years, which is wild. Okay, because it's not cheap. Okay, that's wild.
Right.
But after that first visit, I kind of just fell in love, and I just been coming back and back and back. And
so, what year did you come? What was the first?
Oh, the first year I came was 2021. It was June of 2021. I wanted to come ever since like 2019.
Okay.
And it just manifested 2021.
Okay, so what brought you specifically to Ghana? What did you hear about Ghana that made you pulled here?
Okay, as silly as this sounds, it was a December in Ghana.
Oh,
it was December in Ghana, and I'm explaining. Okay, so I moved up to like the DMV area in the States, and I met someone. It was a guy. He was Ghanaian. We were like dating, and it was probably like November, and he was going because he comes every December or whatever. And he was just hyping it up, like, December in Ghana, you should come, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, because I never heard anything about Ghana. I've been to South Africa. I studied abroad there for like 4 months in the beginning of 2019. But I never heard anything about Ghana. So he kind of opened that up for me. But I couldn't come because anyone who knows, like, November, you don't have a ticket. You're not getting a ticket to come.
Last minute.
Right. And I didn't have, like, the money for the ticket, so I couldn't go. So I was just like, well, I guess I'll go next year. So
what was your experience like?
What?
In December.
In December. Okay. Well, I ended up eventually going to December, but that wasn't the first trip.
Oh, okay.
I got to tell y'all the story, okay?
Okay, tell me. Come on.
So I was like, okay, I'll go next December, or whatever. But then 2020 happened, right? So everything was closed. I couldn't go. But the following year, I was like, okay, I'll go December 2021. But I got so pressed, like I started doing this research on YouTube and stuff and looking at all these. Girl, I went down a rabbit hole, like just looking at all of these videos. I legit didn't know, because it wasn't a conversation in my family, that we were here. Like moving here. I had no clue before 2019, I had no clue. But anyway, I did the research or whatever on YouTube. And the plan was December 2021, but I got so pressed. I said, I'm going.
I was like, I gotta go now.
I said, I gotta go now. So I planned a solo trip for 2021 summer, and I stayed for a month here. And that's how it, like, happened. I end up going again in December, but I started in that summer. Yeah, and that's how it happened.
I came. The first time I came wasn't in December either, but it's still fun. Like,
no, it was great.
It's still fun. Actually, was it overwhelming?
Yeah,
in December.
Exactly. That's why I prefer. Now that I look back on it, I prefer that I came June 2021, like June, July instead of December, because I like to go out. You'll get like a good weekend out of the month for me, but like, I'm not really going out,
turn
girl.
Turn up all day, every day.
But when I go, I go. That's why I don't go.
Yeah. So, what was your first impressions of Ghana?
In June, like my first impression. So keep in mind, like I'd already been looking at all these videos. So for me, I came with the mindset like I'm gonna love it. I just feel like I'm gonna love it because I fell in love with the videos. Like I would just see how happy the people like us here, how happy they looked. So when I came, it was just confirmation. I was like, I'm here. Because I think, yes, I went to South Africa. That was my first country on the continent. But like, there's just no denying the difference in what you feel. Like when I came to Ghana, like it was a completely different feeling than I got in South Africa. So when I got here, I was like, oh, I'm really home. Like I'm really here. And everybody was just welcoming. Yeah. I think that's what like surprised me most.
So what is the differences between South Africa and Ghana? Like the environment, the people.
Yeah, girl. So like I was saying before, I think South Africa can be for some folks, but for my personality, I didn't think it was for me. I do want to go back, explore it a bit more at some point now that I'm older. But at that time, there were just a bunch of white people. In my mind, when I was coming to Africa, I was like leaving that environment, and I was entering an environment where I was a majority, where I would only see my people. Not that I have anything against white folk, but that's what it was for me. That was one of the major things. And then also for me, the history is very similar to the States with apartheid and everything. And we did like a lot of like going to the Nelson Mandela where he was jailed and all these things. So it was just too much similarity to the U.S. for my liking. And I felt like if I wanted that, I could have just stayed in the
America,
States.
Right. So what is it that you prefer in Ghana?
I think for Ghana, I just feel like I belong. It's really simple, you know? Like I just feel like I belong here, and I'm an energy type of person, you know what I mean? And I don't think God makes mistakes. So there's a reason I felt the way I felt when I was in South Africa versus Ghana specifically. So I think that's one of the major things, and it was the people. How welcoming they are. The food, girl, the food. I always leave with a glow because I'm eating correctly.
What kind of food do you like here in Ghana?
I don't eat meat, but the thing I did have to open myself up to when I came was like fish and sea. Because I couldn't survive. Ghanaians, Africans in general love their meat.
Exactly.
So I love red. I love red with plantains. I love their fried rice. The first trip, I could become a Banku because I was eating Banku like nobody's been. I was serious.
I eat so much damn tilapia.
Oh, yeah.
I would turn into a tilapia.
Listen.
And jella fries.
Oh, yeah.
So what about dating? Have you dated a good man? And what are they like?
Okay, so dating here, I thought that maybe I could date here. I'm not gonna lie, I did go on a date while I was here, especially my last trip. But for me, this is just for me in my house. I don't know, it's just something about like, and it could be I wasn't meeting the right ones, but it's just the cultural differences for me. Like some of my jokes, you don't get some of my jokes, and
sense of humor,
and the like I love the chivalry, but but there's also a balance. Oh, there is.
Let's get some light.
There is definitely a.
So.
Yeah.
We can continue. So dating in Ghana.
Yeah, so it's the cultural differences for me. Like I appreciate them as like, you my brother, I'm your sister. But as far as dating, like, I don't know. Especially being that there is like, and that's why I said maybe I wasn't meeting the right ones. But the ones I met like didn't have a lot of money. Not that I'm the type of girl who like, you gotta have this, that, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but they feel like, you know, it's either a survival. Do you feel like if they either looking for survival from you, or that when they have a lot of money, that they have a lot of women?
I haven't dated a Ghanaian who has a lot of money because I didn't even date much when I came. I just went on like one or two because like my focus was I was trying to like reconnect stuff. Like I didn't really
think about dating.
Yeah, but I did try, and for me it was like you're expecting me to pay for things, and I'm just I'm sorry. For me, I get it because we are coming like with the money, and then they have like the ideas and they know how to navigate, but. For me as a woman, I feel like that would birth resentment and
I don't want that.
Yeah, no. So
that's like reversing the natural order.
I'm just like they're manly. Don't get me wrong, they're manly, but I feel like money plays a role in like not how
power dynamic.
Exactly. And you might not want to admit that, but over time I definitely think it's something to say about that. So for me, and that's why I said I love when you said in the other video, like traveling teaches you a lot about yourself.
Exactly, it does.
I learned that because I used to think that I could date like born here African.
No,
and I don't think I decided that it has to be. I still want to date like someone of African descent, but maybe travel, live in America, like that. No shade.
Right.
So that's my experience dating here. I don't really look. I actually don't really look to dating here. I actually have my dating experiences in the States. So.
Yeah. I'm looking to date now just because I've been in Africa almost now for 2 years.
Exactly.
You know, and I do want to have more children, but it's hard. Like when I look at some of these women in these, you know, like the power dynamic. Like, you know, it seems that
part.
Yeah, like I seen a husband like cheating on his wife with a maid, a young maid, you know, and the wife is at home, and because she does not have any independence, any autonomy, like she has to stay in this situation and it's toxic. But in America, you know, the women like us, we will get up and leave that dynamic most times. Some women will still stay, but most times we will leave. You know what I mean? When the disrespect is being served on the table, but that's what I realized. Yeah. So what about it for you makes you say like you don't want to date like a traditional African woman?
Or man, Canadian. I mean, I could date a woman.
No, like one.
Oh, okay. Wait, say that question again.
Why wouldn't you want to be like in a traditional African relationship?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So don't get me wrong. I am all for traditional roles and relationships. Like even with the guy I'm dating in the States, like traditional. Like let's do it, and that's kind of how we operate. But I think for me, it's more so like, and I'm thinking long term. It's like if we're not getting each other jokes, what are we really gonna do? You know what I mean? And then the other thing I also noticed too with Ghanaian men, not all here, is that like there's this because they're used to the women needing to depend on them financially. There's this I said it so it is. And that's not, if you're wrong, baby, I'm going to tell you you're wrong in a respectful way, but I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. And I just noticed, like, with some of the men I've encountered here, it's just like, you're a woman you don't know. Just let me, and I don't like that. So I think there's balance, and I think that's why they sometimes, with us coming from America, we kind of shake them up a bit because we don't need their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
So what is your favorite thing about Ghana and your least favorite?
My favorite thing about Ghana, I would say, it's kind of selfish, but I think for me, it's like the peace that I feel when I'm here. And I just feel like free, like to just be whatever that looks like for me when I come. And I think I say this all the time, like when I'm here, I feel like I'm in a movie. Like, am I really here in Africa, in Ghana? Like just walking about freely. And I think too, the safety that I feel. I was just telling a friend actually the other day that the first visit I came, girl, my mouth getting real dry. Hold on. But I was telling my friend, like, it's so true that you fear what you don't know. So the first visit, like, of course, like, I could be scared, I could be anxious, but I still do, like you, I like a challenge. If something scares me or, like, I feel uneasy, like even with the video recording, I'm gonna do it because I know it's gonna push me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like the first visit, I was uncertain, but I still wanted to reconnect and all of that. And so I remember coming and everything looking the same. I didn't like everything, all the street signs, everything looked the same, and I didn't really understand it. So sometimes I would feel a little bit like anxious, like what's going on, like this, that. But now that I'm here, like for like the 5th or whatever time, it's like, oh, okay, this is.
I know what I'm
So
saying.
you understand, like you fear what you don't know, and that's what I say to them.
Exactly, and that's why it's best to travel, you know, because now I'm riding on the trochos like a local.
Yes,
I'm telling them, take me to the circle. I know how much I'm
Circle
supposed
Kanishi.
to pay.
Listen.
Circle. How do they pronounce
Circle Kanishi. Oh my gosh. That trocho life.
Right,
Man.
take me to the barrier. Like, I know where I'm going and I know how much I'm supposed to. So
it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you gotta really expose yourself to that fear, because I had a level of social anxiety, and Ghana is really like healing that, because this is a social environment. You have to be social to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what's next? Do you see yourself living in Ghana overall?
That's a great question. Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, so when I first started this journey, when I first came, it was immediately like, oh no, I'm living in Ghana. I don't want to be attached to nothing in the States. I'm living in Ghana.
Right.
But as I continue to visit, as like things change in my life, as people get older, as I'm evolving, like my hope for Africa has kind of changed a bit, right? Yeah. So it's like it's still same love for Ghana, for Africa. But for me, it's like I don't see myself like just coming and never going back.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you're able to do that, but for me, it's like I have to go back and forth. That's what I feel.
This world has global opportunities, so you don't have to come here and stay here unless you feel like that's your personal mission.
Right, but I do. I want my children to grow up here, to have large chunks of being here, like when they're younger. And then I also do want property here and to be able to go back and forth. Okay. So that's my
So you're in business here, right? You have a touring company. So how is that going?
It's going. It's a going. So let me stop. So we launched it. I actually started off after that first trip. I actually started off with clothing. So I started selling clothing at first, and it's anything with entrepreneurship is like, you know, trial and error. And so it's the same. My touring company is Brafier Tours, which means come home in Twi. And the clothing business was Brafier Collection. So it's still the same name. But again, as I'm evolving, as I learn different things in business, things just change. Yeah. And for me, it was like, okay, so if my goal is to like, you know, kind of spread the gospel of like coming to the continent, I want like people to come. The clothing is not really going to do it for me. So like, why not? So that's how the tours came about. And then I also noticed that like people charge so much to tour here. Yeah, they do. And I'm like, I get it. But also if the goal is for people to come, like I didn't want the finances to be a barrier.
So what's the price range for your touring?
Girl, that's a good question. It depends. It depends on if you're doing like a day tour. Like a day tour could be like $200 or something like that. Versus like doing 7 days or 10 days. I don't have the exact numbers, but it's no more than like for like a 10-day tour. I think it's like $14.50 or something like that.
That's affordable. So
it's super affordable.
If someone wanted to start their own touring business, what are the steps they take to do that?
Okay, that's a great question. I think, with any business, I feel like you just got to start because the goal is to eventually get registered. But what I learned from my business with the clothing is I did all this registration and then like I was losing money. Yeah. So I don't want to register until like I have enough to go,
it's
you know.
Promising.
Yeah, and we've gotten tours like we launched in March for the tours. We've gotten at least like 3. And then we have a December tour plan, so we're filling those seats. Yeah. But it's just like I want to make sure that
you don't have to get everything all on paper.
Exactly.
Before you start it.
Exactly.
Just show that you can do it and profit
and deliver.
And then you get it registered later.
Right. Don't play about. That's the thing too. Like I think people trust me because of YouTube videos and like I'm very consistent with that. And then like. I don't play about people's money. Exactly. Like if somebody's giving me their money, I want to make sure that it is what I'm saying.
Okay, so you gain a trusted clientele.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the proper steps to start a business. So you mentioned Building a trusted clientele.
Oh yes. If I could do anything differently with like my whole entrepreneurship journey, I would build my YouTube first and then start the business. So don't even think about any type of business until I build the trust with my audience, and then I go ahead and launch some kind of business, because I did it kind of backwards with the clothing.
Yeah.
And so it was like, who are you launching your business to? You don't have no audience. Right. Like, where is it going? But the clothing, it taught me a lot, and I actually did get quite a few sales. It's just I was like spending more than like what I was making. So I was like, okay, I think it was like a friend here, like in my last trip, he was like, well, why don't you just do the tours? And after I journaled, prayed on it and everything, I'm like, okay, yeah, because I didn't want to do the tours at first. I was like, tours?
So you say the tours are pretty profitable, even with the lower rate?
Lower rate of people coming?
No, like the prices you charge.
Yeah, they're profitable because you got to think too, some people do, not everybody do like a 10-day tour. Like the longer tours, I do try to make them cheaper because it can weigh on people's pockets. But for instance, I have a group who's only doing, they paid for their accommodation. They already had their trip kind of together. They just wanted us for a 3-day Cape Coast tour. Okay. So we don't have to pay for their accommodation. So it can be profitable, even though we aren't charging like super crazy prices. And the other thing is too, is like, even though our prices aren't super crazy, we're like being realistic about how much stuff costs here. Yeah. I feel like some of the prices I've seen, I'm just like, why is it costing that much? You know what I mean? I'm like, I wouldn't pay it. Right. So but it also too, it depends on like what a person wants. Do you want luxurious, like, place to stay, or are you a solo traveler? You don't mind doing hostels or like
just hostel,
guest houses, yeah. So we give them that option. There's like a Google form they fill out. They tell us their preferences, and then we go from there.
So which personality do you think is most suitable for Ghana?
I think for Ghana specifically, especially if you're going to be in Accra, you have to be like open to people. Yeah. It's hella people. Especially during like those holiday seasons. You got to be open to that. I think you have to be open. Honestly, this is not just Ghana, but like you got to come like with an open mindset. Yeah. You cannot come here thinking this is the States. Yeah. You can't come here thinking that people are going to do what we do in the States. Like it's a complete, like there are brothers and sisters, but it's a different culture. Like we're coming back to repatriate. We're coming back to assimilate. We're not here to dictate their culture. Like we're coming to assimilate, just like they would have to do if they were coming to the States. So I would say like, if you want to make the move, you have to be open-minded and you got to come. You gotta come with a mindset to like want to assimilate, or it's gonna be a problem. You're gonna think everything's a problem. You're gonna hate everybody. Like you're not gonna want to do anything if you're coming here.
Did y'all hear Siri? She said that's what I thought. Oh my God, they spying on us.
I know, it's a feds, y'all. It's a feds. But that's it.
Okay. So biggest culture shock, and what's like the craziest thing you've seen?
Oh my gosh, wait. I'll start. Listen, in Ghana, anything is possible. Let me just say that. Okay? I think for me, it was my last 3-month extended stay. I was in a church room. And it was another church room. They had, I don't know if they had people inside, but there was a driver, of course. They had a goat. They had like, wait, it gets better. They had like 3 or 4 goats tied to the top of the church road, just on the top. I swear, I have a video on my phone somewhere, but
you gotta see.
I know they had like 3 or 4 of them tied like to the top of the church road. I don't know where they were going, how they did it. Like, what were they doing with the goats?
About to eat
it. So there's that, and then also, I've seen like people on those little motorbikes carry couches, beds, the types of things they can get on those little motorbikes
is crazy.
Anything is possible. Yeah. Culture shock, like the biggest culture shock, I think for me, it's probably like you have to be like super clear, or like I don't know, like for instance, let me just, a realistic example. like the landlord for our 3-month extended stay that I just got off from, he like, how do I say this? After he got our money, he did whatever he wanted to do with the apartment. Like we were supposed to have like free Wi-Fi. He didn't give us like the Wi-Fi. And granted, like we paid in cities. We had a Ghanaian friend do it for us, so we paid in cities. When we got here, he thought we were gonna pay a different price, but it's like he accepted the price, and then after he got our money, he just started doing all types of stuff. Right. So it's just like with apartments and stuff, you just have to be very cautious. Yeah. And you have to be like really clear with Ghanaians. Like, let's make sure you understand. I understand. We both understand before you give somebody your money.
Yeah, because my landlord is the same.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix. And the stuff never got fixed. But yet he wants to get paid for certain, you know, stuff.
And so that makes me think about actually another one, food. You know how in the States, like, they bring you the wrong thing or you don't like your food, you can exchange. Whatever you get here, baby, you're paying for it. It just is. But even if they make a mistake, it's just yours. And nobody has an issue with it except for us coming from the outside. And I'm just like, because I don't eat meat. And this woman, it was in Kumasi, she brought me egg roll with like meat in it. And I bit into it and I was like, I said veggie, like, and she's just looking at me, look at her, and I'm just like,
right. Especially when you're buying off of Instagram, like if you see a company on Instagram, you know, firstly, don't get anybody that doesn't do payment on delivery. That's the most trusted.
Because they're gonna take your money.
But some people do exchange only. So when I brought my microphone, like, she sold me a defective microphone. She probably knew it was defective, but, you know, it's as is. Right. I can't, you know, and some companies are like that in America, but here they may not state it, you know? Yeah. So everything is as is.
They be trying to get their bag.
Right.
By any means. And I was just like, ah.
So you feel like they hustlers?
Yeah. They're definitely hustlers out here. I mean, of course, not everybody is like out to deceive you, so don't come here thinking that. But there are some really good people here. But there are some people who will try to deceive you. There are some people who just want your money. Like that landlord in that apartment, he was terrible. Yeah. He was so bad, and I'm just like, we literally don't give you any problems. We barely here because we're going to get our content. We're barely at the apartment. Exactly. So I just didn't understand why he was so evil. And I was like, God is not going to bless you. But yeah, you just got to be cautious with that. Like, even if you're like trying to get a place here, don't be sending nobody your money before you even get here.
No, you can't move like that here in Ghana. So what are your final thoughts on Ghana? You said you want to move around, right? So you don't want to live here, or you feel like you will come back eventually?
I think, or not I think, I know, I would do like an apartment and eventually like get property, that type of thing, and like come and go, like stay for extended periods, go back, stay for extended periods. That's where I am right now. But to be honest, y'all, I'm constantly evolving. Like my ideas constantly evolve, and I allow myself to do that, and I allow God to guide me in that way. So that's kind of my plan for.
So what was your did you get any backlash from your family? I didn't ask you that.
Oh, when I was coming, like when I said I wanted to come, I mean, my family, they are really supportive. I will say that, because I've always been like a go-getter. When I have an idea, they know I'm just going to do it anyway. Yeah. So they support me in that sense, but of course it was like, by yourself, like what are you by yourself, what's going on, or whatever. But eventually, like once I got here and I would send them videos and stuff, they were like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're taking care of that type of thing. But as I kept going, it's like, okay, the first time was cool, but why you still going? Like, you got a man over there? Like, and I'm just like, no, I'm just following my joy. I'm following my bliss, that type of thing. But they understand now. They see like what I'm doing with the tours. They see how happy I am when I'm here. And they even want to eventually be able to come. But for them, we're working through like the finances type of thing.
So how have the locals embraced you here?
The locals, that's the thing too. I feel like the locals have really taken me in. I've had I actually have a lot of like Ghanaian friends here. They're mostly males,
But
I know they're mostly males. But I actually just met on this trip 2 really great females.
Mm-hmm.
But my experience with the females, not these 2, but before. They want you to pay for stuff when you go out, and I'm not paying for.
That's the second time that I've heard that.
I'm not paying for your stuff.
So,
like we're both women.
Girl, you better go.
Like I had my roommate the last trip. She had like a bunch of female Ghanaian friends, and we all went out. And we were going to somebody else's birthday thing. Yeah. They invited us. We were going.
Yeah. And
the person was gonna pay for the bill, but the girls, they expected like my friend to pay for their part.
Oh,
and I was just like, girl, no. So no, I don't really, not a lot of the females, but I did meet 2 really dope girls this time, but mostly the males. Yeah.
So how are the guys treating you?
They treat me, I mean, well, I feel like they understand the power of women. They understand like we're queens, and they treat us as
like
such.
Queens, right?
And that's what I would say about like Ghanaians, because that's what I can speak on versus like, men in the States. It's like they understand that we are women. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they treat us as we should be treated.
Yeah, I remember when I left New York and just a rude awakening. I mean, in Africa overall, I think men treat women mostly like that. So when it was like a huge difference leaving America to come here, because I remember I was struggling with like 3 or 4 my whole life on my back. And the Uber, he couldn't help me because they couldn't stop in the airport. They have to keep driving.
They have to keep going.
The drop off. So the guy, I asked one of the guys, he wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, can you help me? And he was like,
oh, see, that pisses, I'm
like, girl, bye. I'm not going to help you. And I was just like, damn, this is why I'm leaving this.
Yeah,
this is why I'm leaving now. Like,
I'm like,
because a guy's like this.
Yeah.
Not every guy is like that, but for the most part, it's like, why should I help you? Who cares if you're a woman?
And it's like, it's in our community too. That's what like makes me upset, because I just feel like whether you find me attractive or not, you're my brother, I'm your sister.
Right.
Like we come from the same place. Exactly. Like I just feel like we should take care of each other. And that's one thing that irritates me about men in the States. Not all, of course. I don't want to ever say all. But like that resonates for sure.
So that's like the biggest difference, yeah. So what do you think about the war in America against men and women? I know we just briefly talked about it, but
girl,
is this like a good escape from that?
Well, yes and no. I would say, first of all, I'm sick of the war between men and women. That's 1, 2, and 3. Because where are we going if we all hate each other?
Right.
But I think, depending on who you are, I guess this could be a good escape from that here, because they really know how to treat women if you find the right person. But even like in the States, I feel like a lot of it has to do, that's crazy, I was just having this conversation. A lot of it has to do with healing on both sides. I feel like I'm glad that we're here. We're getting to learn who we are. But a lot of us, we don't know who we are. And that's why this conversation is even being had, like roles and what you bring in and blah, blah, blah. But like, I just feel like I've been able to connect with someone who like understands me in a beautiful way and like believes also in like those roles and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So I think it could be a good escape, but I think in the States, we got some healing to do.
Yeah, we do. We do. So no matter where you go, the passport bros or, the passport girls, like no matter where you go, like you still gonna run from you if you don't deal with the inner hurt and the inner demons that we deal with. Yeah, so
and a lot of people don't even realize like there's healing that needs to be done.
Right.
That's the scary part. And we listening to these people on YouTube on podcasts, and they are. But it's so crazy. This just happened because you hear them like saying the same exact thing that this person said in the podcast.
The last person, that looked like a wedding ring. For
oh no, it's not. Everybody said, "Girl, this from Walmart."
Which I like rings. Put it on there just to throw them off. Right?
Just throw them off.
Right.
But I just think it's healing that needs to be done, and we need to understand who we are.
Yeah. Because
there's no way we'll be like men will be talking about women, like the people who carry your babies. You will not be talking about us like that or treating us like that if you understood who you were.
Yeah.
And by the same thing with women. So I don't know.
Yeah. So Africa isn't an escape, neither
Yeah.
is Asia, Europe,
Yeah.
anywhere in the world until you deal with yourself.
With yourself.
So what are some final words you have for my viewers if they plan on making a trip here to Ghana or Africa?
Well,
anywhere?
first of all, book Brafier Tours. That's number one. Our Instagram is Brafier Tours. But no, seriously, I would say, especially if you're planning on like moving, just like we talked about before, I think that we all feel the call. That's why we come.
Mhm.
But people's route to get here can be different, right?
Yeah.
So you don't, if it's not in your ability right now to up and move, especially if you have children,
Yeah.
then maybe you shouldn't do that off rip. Maybe
Yeah,
you
come
should
up
take
with a
a couple trips and
Mhm.
come up with your plan and see if you actually even want to be here, because
Yeah.
you could come and you actually might not like it.
Yeah.
So I would say go at your own pace. Don't let anybody rush you. And do it your way. Don't let anybody shame you about the way that you're going about it, because they don't know your financial situation and they don't pay your bills. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, I would say take that leap of faith. Like, even if you feel the fear, just go ahead and do it anyway. And once you get here, you'll realize there's nothing to fear. It's
Right.
only love. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
So
yeah,
yes,
that's
thank you for coming on my channel.
Thank you for
And
having
if the
me.
people want to find you, where can they find you? What's your handle?
Yes, so my Instagram is Mighty Intellectual, and then the tour page I mentioned is Brafier Tours. My YouTube channel is also Mighty Intellectual.
Okay.
Yes.
There you have it. Thank you. One love. And you guys, you heard her final words. If you want to take this journey to Africa, it should be a personal decision, but put the steps in place that you need to come here and for it to be a successful journey. So if you guys like this content, make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe, and follow her on her handles. And what's your YouTube again?
It's Mighty Intellectual.
Mighty Intellectual. So thank you for coming, and you guys, thank you for watching. One love.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.